And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. This is Eric Holloway with the National Weather Service for July 11th, 2023. A couple options for you to get out on the telephone and enter into a menu system for further forecasting information. Also, we're out on the World Wide Web. And lastly, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please email us at the email listed at the bottom of the page. For Alaska weather, hazardous weather for watch warnings and advisories, we only have one little spot up there in the central Beaufort Sea coast, and that's for flooding advisory. Pretty good rainfalls over last weekend, 2 to 3 inches of rainfall in that area. Brought water levels up on the Sag and Kapark River, so continued advisory in that area. And then that's out for a couple more days there. But then looking at the fire danger, we're looking at some grass information here with high to areas of very high fuels there in the eastern interior and even down into the panhandle with some medium fire danger associated with the grasses, but mainly at the upper duff level of the ground. And then as you get into the west and southwest, very wet, very low fire danger there according to the grass potential in that area. And then looking at the surface map this morning, you can see that the southeast continues, the panhandle continues to have some decent weather, but otherwise out there in the central interior and up into the Brooks Range, we have some cloudiness and some rain shower activity all the way down through that area. Some light rain showers associated with that system as the trough continues to move from west to east across the mainland. Otherwise, we have that big ridge out there in the Bering Sea, driving some marine layer fog and other notable low visibility weather out there. Otherwise, a warm front out there approaching the western Aleutians, and then anchoring low down here, creating a little bit of rain shower activity. And again, but the main weather again is clear skies for southeast Alaska. And you can see what this looks like at the surface with the surface map for today's weather. 1,008 millibar low there with a weakening occluder front. Again, pretty good flying weather and weather across most of the panhandle. And we again have some shower activities for the western interior up into the Brooks Range. And again, high pressure just off the Arctic coast there. And again, that big high ridge of high pressure. Nice to see that in the weather models today with 1,028 millibar high ridge in that area of the state. And then there's that warm front approaching the western Aleutians, driving some rain showers out that way. Then for tonight's weather, that trough in the interior continues to push east, and then that low in the Gulf of Alaska, now 1,009 millibars there. And again, continued nice weather in southeast Alaska with some just general cloudiness, but no rain shower expected. They dodge another episode of weather there. Again, southeast Alaska continues to be the place to be for this summer. And then lastly, that warm front we saw just off the map, now a occluder front with 1,009 millibar low there, pressing through the western Aleutians, but again, that ridge of high pressure now poking into the western mainland, driving some very nice weather, some drying conditions across that region and into southwest and Bristol Bay region. For Wednesday's weather, that low in the western Aleutians drives into the central Bering Sea with 1,007 millibars there, occluder front, triple point. But again, the main story is the ridge of high pressure, 1,031 millibar ridge of high pressure poking in across much of the western mainland and into south central with its effects, but otherwise some lingering showers associated with that low, a trough in the eastern interior, driving some possible afternoon thunderstorms there. But that low in the Gulf has now disappeared. 1,031 millibar ridge replaces that, but again, nice weather in southeast Alaska. Then for Thursday's weather, that low in the Bering, now a weak trough as the low pushes through extreme western Russia, 1,004 millibars there. That trough over the interior drives into the border and between Alaska and Canada. And that ridge out there in the Bering gets squashed by that trough as it presses into the western mainland. Now 1,034 millibars there, and some lingering rain showers through the southern Bering Sea and into the Bristol Bay region. So we look at low temperatures. Wednesday morning, we're looking at 53 for Ketchikan, 52 in Sitka, 50s generally for the Panhandle and into Northeast Gulf Coast. Over in South Central, 50 in 40s through South Central, 50 in Homer, 51 in Kodiak, 51 in King Salmon, 49 in McGrath. And then for high temperatures Wednesday afternoon, 60s, close to 70 there in Ketchikan, 66 in Haines, 60 in Yakutat, but otherwise 71 there in Talkeetna, 64 in Anchorage, 60s down through the Kenai Peninsula, Kodiak Island 62, 60s up through the southwest region, McGrath 67, 70 in King Salmon. Low temperatures Thursday morning, looking at 50s again for much of the Panhandle, 54 in Ketchikan, 54 in Sitka, 51 in Juneau, 50s across South Central as well, 54 in Talkeetna, 55 in Anchorage, 51 in Kodiak, and 50 in McGrath, and 52 in King Salmon. Then back across the region for Thursday afternoon, high temperatures looking at 71 there in Ketchikan, upper 60s and 70 through the Panhandle with 69 in Haines, 61 in Yakutat, 70 there in Anchorage. Look at that. Nice 70, nice to see that for Thursday. 74 in Talkeetna, 60s through the Kenai Peninsula, 65 in Kodiak, 71 there in King Salmon, and 71 there in McGrath. Then as we look at the interior and North Slope for Wednesday morning, low temperatures, looking at 50s through the upper Yukon. We have 56 in Fort Yukon, 56 in Fairbanks and the Tanana Basin, Northway 58, Anaktuvuk Pass 47, 34 in Ukqiavik, 50 down in Galena. And then for high temperatures Wednesday afternoon, looking at 71 there in Fort Yukon, otherwise upper 60s through much of the interior, 67 in Fort Yukon, 36 there up in Ukqiavik. Sounds a little chilly up there. And then 51 in Nome, 67 in Galena, 67 in Tanana. For high temperatures Thursday morning, looking at 50s through the upper Yukon, 55 in Fort Yukon, Tanana Basin, 50s through there, 55 in Fairbanks. As we move into the Brooks Range, 44 in Anaktuvuk Pass, 36 there in Ukqiavik, Point Hope 47, 48 in Nome, 51 in Galena. And then as we look at high temperatures Thursday afternoon, 70s are back through much of the interior with 68 in Eagle, 76 in Fort Yukon, 74 in Fairbanks, 70s in the Tanana Basin. And then as we get into the Brooks Range, 63 in Anaktuvuk Pass, and then out on the North Slope, 42 in Ukqiavik, 56 in Nome, 69 in Galena. Then as we look down through the southwest and Alaska Peninsula, 40s through for overnight low temperatures Wednesday morning, 40s through the lower Cusco, 45 in Cold Bay, 46 in Shemya, St. Paul, 44. High temperatures Wednesday afternoon, 60 through the Kuskokwim, and 53 there in Cold Bay, 54 in Dutch Harbor, 51 in Shemya, 51 in St. Paul. Low temperatures for Thursday morning, 50s for much of the region, 47 down there in Cold Bay, 52 in Dutch Harbor, 46 in Shemya, and 45 in St. Paul. And then high temperatures Thursday afternoon, 60s for much of the region, with 56 in Cold Bay, 58 in Dutch Harbor, and 50 in Shemya, and 52 in St. Paul. CPC 6 to 10 day, July 17 through July 21. Above normal tilts for much of the interior and North Slope, near normal conditions along the southern mainland and into the Panhandle, below normal tilts across much of the Alaska Peninsula. And then for precipitation, just a limited band across the interior down into the southwest with above normal precipitation tilts for the 6 to 10 day outlook.